Tell me when we're live.
I'm hitting the button.
Hit the button. I'm refreshing the page. Does not show up, but Ashtray is supposedly live. All right. Motherfucker. Here we go. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Red Eye Report. Tonight we're talking about who killed Shinzo Abe. With us, as usual, we got Turn Off My Fan Oracle. Old squeaky cart, Teddy. Did you kill it? Mystic,
squeaking, bro.
And Dickhole Ashtray.
Dickhole Ashtray.
Fucking dickhole.
And as always, we need to take a little moment for our our weekly shout out to the Dane County Humane Society. Help raise funds for them. Don't forget to like and share and fuck them. This week's pet is Cuckles
not
the
the
cock.
animals, people, not the animals.
Like, share, and fuck them?
Yeah,
The Humane Society, yeah.
Cuckles
Anyways,
the cock.
this week's Cuckles the cock. He was always forced to watch the other hens get fucked by the bigger roosters.
Ooh.
So he was sent off to a better home where maybe he can find a place where there are no roosters to compete with.
Yeah, because he's a two-piece now.
I bet he's
one of the most ghetto Popeyes you can ever go to. I mean, that's got to be ghetto in the motherfucker.
Right? Cuckles was turned
Popeyes ain't
into
nowhere
a
but the ghetto.
spicy chicken sandwich with pickles. Cuckles with a side of pickles. All right.
glad the
You guys
Dane
remember-
County Humane Society is taking care of these animals.
Make sure to ask for that on their Facebook page.
I got a zebra steak from her for that one zebra we did that time. It was awesome.
All right. So, you guys remember Flash in the Pan news it made? This would have been July 8th of 2022.
Yeah.
When former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was assassinated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you remember hearing much about it after that?
No, that's kind of crazy, actually. Now that I think about it, like their fucking prime minister is
Yeah, their prime minister was assassinated, where it was like, it would be like if someone shot Obama.
right?
Yeah.
Sure, he wasn't in office
That's
at the
because
time.
the Japanese don't air their fucking dirty laundry, bro.
I guess.
Well, if you think about it, that is definitely true, especially where this story comes from, The Atlantic. And when I read it, it was just kind of like, what the fuck? So you can see those pictures there in the outline. This was on in Nara, Japan.
Mhm.
For those of you who don't remember or didn't see it on TikTok, this was a kind of general speech that Abe was going to give for another lawmaker who was running for re-election. You know, people do it all the time. And so Shinzo Abe, even though he wasn't prime minister, he was kind of like top dog for that party, the LDP, the Liberal Democratic Party, even though they're a conservative party, but they're called the Liberal Democratic Party. He's giving a speech, and all of a sudden, bam, bam, two motherfucking shots roll out. His security guards are like, what the fuck? Apparently, like, they didn't even have concentric circles of security around him. So this guy was able to just kind of meander within, like 25 feet with you see that picture of that shotgun. It's like, it's just like two galvanized steel pipes. He probably fitted with a grill igniter or something. Like,
You seriously can't get a fucking like
a pistol
a
or something.
pistol
Yeah.
or something off the street? Like you can't get
Not
something
unless
off
you've
of the
got some
fucking
connections
Yakuza?
and real money. I think
in Japan it's
real
really
money.
hard. Yeah, in Japan it's real hard to get a gun.
So you
Yeah.
gotta build a fucking like
Yeah.
there just aren't.
BFG looking
There's
shotgun.
nowhere to get guns, and they're
Probably be easier to fly to America, buy one in a Walmart parking lot,
right?
right. Well,
fly
and
back
also
to Japan.
keep in mind too that we, they're, after beating them in World War II, like the fuck if we were gonna let them have personal weapons, So I'm sure that was part of why they just haven't had weapons. I know even them like trying to expand their military to a certain degree, even though it's supposed to only be for peaceful things, is controversial still. Anyways,
they can't even have aircraft carriers and shit.
Yeah, but now they're also in this predicament where it's more they have to watch out for China,
right?
Like any of our allies over there.
Yeah, and China already fucking hates them. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. So this story, it doesn't even really involve China so much, but it does shows all the Asian racism. Anyways, this guy, 41-year-old Tetsuya Yamagami, made this homemade gun.
Oh, Yamagami.
Within 30 minutes of like him shooting this guy, he didn't flee, let himself be arrested, and he tells police, he's like, "Yep, I shot him because I'm lashing out because he is an ally of the Unification Church." And the Unification Church is known as the Moonies, is the term for him. And like, I think I'd heard of that before, but it sounds almost
like... Is that the cult? AUM?
I don't think so, but probably, something similar where it's, they are considered a cult based in South Korea.
South. Oh, yeah. This is a Japanese cult.
Yeah. So, this, in his confession, he's like, "Yep, Shinzo Abe was a close ally of the Unification Church, the Moonies, and they ruined my family. My mother gave them all of our money. My father committed suicide. My brother committed suicide. I tried committing suicide.
Fuck?
I couldn't. I did not. My suicide was not successful, so I felt the only thing I had left was to try to attack this church, which ruined my family."
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
And what was that, Teddy? You broke up.
Teddy, you're breaking up really bad.
Yeah, I'm not even hearing you down,
yeah,
Teddy.
we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
He's talking. I hope he can hear us.
Can't hear you, bud.
Can't hear you, Teddy. You broke up. Your battery dead or something?
We'll keep. He's waving us on.
Anyways, so he's confessed that like this is why I did it, and it's me lashing out at the Unification Church because they ruined my family, and I have nothing left to lose. And the thing is, the police were like, "What? What do you mean?" And they looked into it, and they're like, "Holy fucking shit, he's right." And so they sat on this information because the election was like 2 days away, and they sat on the details of why this guy, what he said in his confession.
But he wasn't running for re-election, was he? Or was his
Abe
party?
Wasn't, but his party was, yeah. He was there representing his party too. It was just like once they realized that this guy, like his accusations that that Abe was tied to the Moonies, and that so he really wanted to get the widow of who's the guy. Sun Young Moon is the name of the guy who started the Moonies. He actually had died in 2012, but his widow still runs this church. And this man, Yamagami, Tetsuya Yamagami, couldn't get to the widow. Like she might be in Korea. But Abe was like the closest important person he could get to lash out at the church.
So when you say church, is this like a fucking mega church in the U.S.? Like, what the fuck is this thing?
They're based in like 100 different countries. They're based in the United States as well. They just they didn't really catch on here like, some other weirdo churches like Scientology and stuff. But the Moonies are worldwide, but they're started in South Korea. And by this guy, Sun Young Moon, and they're known for they have mass weddings. They're mass weddings where people marry someone, like nowadays they're marrying people over video chat who are other church members, sometimes in other countries. really weird shit. They used to, what they would do is they would sell trinkets and like teas and have the claims of, health benefits, all bullshit, where they sell them at like super high markups, almost like people like in Amway things where they would have their members would buy products cheap and would go out selling them. But then the profits all went back to the church anyways. And
it's always a pyramid scheme, man.
Sounds like a cult to me.
Yeah. Oh, they consider it a cult. So what happened is that it wasn't until stories were leaking out that this guy who killed, because the prime minister, of course, people are like, what the fuck? Want to know what's, and everybody was, super horrified by his assassination. And then the story starts coming out, and it was like after the election, then the Moonies confirmed, yes, this guy's mother was a member of our church. She ended up giving the church 100 million yen, which would have been about $700,000 US.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Basically, the entire family, assets.
Wow.
His father had died of suicide. His brother got some, terminal cancer and then committed suicide. Mother gave all the money away, so he had like, I got no money to try to go to school, to try to better myself. And he felt he had nothing else to lose. The story then comes out after the election, and it's kind of like, everybody's just like, wait, what? Turns out that, like, let's see here, the Moonies, it was kind of like this open secret in a way, or in plain sight. They run this huge volunteer army of campaign volunteers, campaign workers. And they allied themselves with the LDP party, the Liberal Democratic Party, the Conservative Party. They're, anti-gay, anti-abortion, I think, too. Conservative Party. It would be like, I'd say it almost sounds akin to like the evangelicals, how they were with the conservative.
And they're called the Liberal Democratic Party?
The Liberal Democratic Party would be like akin to the Republicans here, and then the Moonies would be akin to like the evangelicals, kind of in a way where.
I know, but
Moonies
like, do they not know what liberal or democratic means?
Oh, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though that's the name, they're a conservative party in Japan. That's
okay. All right.
Yeah. Don't ask me. That's probably what they, it's that kind of like double speak. We're liberal. Yeah. Give us all your money. Anyways, it started coming out after the election that half of their 379 LDP members had Moonie connections with this church. And whether they were members or they donated, or the Moonies helped them get elected. And then some like 290 assembly members just throughout the different government parties, 290 assembly members and governors all had church ties to the Moonies, which basically means that a right-wing Korean cult has like an umbilical connection to like the party that, for the most part, like the LDP has been running Japan for the most part over the last 70 years.
Damn.
And the thing is, like, the Moonies are hate, just like, the general people will talk shit and hate the Church of Scientology and know that the Church of Scientology does a lot of fucking shady shit. So there's plenty of people in Japan that are all of a sudden like, what? Like, this guy's, it was the fucking Moonies drove this guy. And it was like the hypocrisy of the fact that, so Abe and the LDP, they're like a nationalist party, like pro-Japan, and he was divisive because some people thought he was too much kind of like their imperial past. They want, like, Japan is trying not to be like their warlike past in the World War II. But the hypocrisy then was that this nationalist party was actually being like, they were getting into elections because of the Moonies would do 10 times the amount of legwork, like campaign volunteer type work, and convincing groups and families to all vote this one way, compared to any other like political campaign groups within Japan.
And by convincing, do you mean by force or?
Well, like by force, or also like especially if they were church members, they would just tell them like, "This is who you're voting for."
Right.
And
No, I mean like other people, not just church members though. You know what I mean? Because they're out there fucking campaigning, right?
Oh yeah, I mean
It's just if they own that much of it, it seems like they're pulling some fucking Chicago in the 30s type of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're voting for these motherfuckers that are going to break the kneecaps.
Like. That's why also the current LDP party and the current prime minister has like opened up a government investigation into the ties of it, which is let's see if I got the notes here. That the context is that it's by looking into them, it's like there's no member of that church is actually being charged with any crime, but they're looking into sense kind of like, are we going to rescind their religious status?
So then they have to pay taxes.
Yeah, and just like how the Church of Scientology, I think they don't have a they're not taken as a real religion by the Japanese government. They're not given religious status. Even though like when you look at the Moonies and face value, like if they were, people would kind of think of them as just as crazy as Scientologists. Anyways, so the hypocrisy there that this conservative party is actually being, they're like using the fucking Korean cult, because what the Korean cult and why people hate the Moonies in Japan. And now that Yamagami is all of a sudden like a folk hero, he's like the tragic hero. Because the Moonies would sell those cheap ass trinkets, right? Well, there was continual like lawsuits and stuff coming from that, and the government started cracking down. So they basically just went into full on donations through Japanese Guilt. They would take the images, because Japan ruled over Korea from 1910 to 1945, and they would make the young girls, or were they comfort women? I believe they called them. They, of course, Japanese high schools don't talk about this,
right,
in their high school notes. So they would. And also Japan, especially older Japanese, are still carrying around that guilt of what their parents did and stuff in the war. And they start going and telling them that, like, your troubles and your worries they're related because of your ancestors and the sins that they've committed. They're suffering in hell. And their suffering is what's causing your strife and your turmoil and all the hardship you're going through right now.
So what you're saying is they're doing what black people do to us.
Hey, man, if it works, it works.
I'm just fucking around.
So they're like, the only way to alleviate your ancestors' sins is to pay the church to.
So that's some fucking medieval ass
guilt trip. Yeah, because your ancestors were raping, our Korean women.
What do they call it? Tithing or something?
Tithings, yeah. Penance. So.
Yeah, that was 100 years ago. How many generations is that? 5?
4. 5, 4.
About 20 years per generation, I think. So yeah. 5.
Well, Japanese people, they're old as
they
fuck
live longer,
too.
So 3 to 4 generations still. Like, dude, come on. Like, that's some bullshit. Trying to use that against it. Fuck.
Right.
Oh yeah, the Moonies. They I can't remember what the number was. It's in the billions. They've been siphoning. They make most of their money actually from Japan, even though they're based in South Korea.
Damn.
And the Moonies were actually they were initially supported, by the government, because they were seen as they were they were conservative, like Christian based, or they thought, but they were a counterweight to communism, and that church influence would help keep, socialism at bay.
Is it based off of some form of Christianity, or is it like a completely different thing?
That I know that they were like in one of these stories, this woman was talking about how innocuous too these people would get members, and also it's very kind of like in Japan, if you're a lonely person and all of a sudden like she's like this housewife who got some friends who. She's like, oh, kind of question at first, like, oh, no, these are just educational videos. And then she's like, slowly, more and more, then would start talking about the Bible and stuff. And then she was given a Bible to her friends. And then she kind of was just like, well, I'm just going to like go along, for now. And then like her husband actually had to like do an intervention, be like, you've been brainwashed to be just completely subservient and working to give money to this church. And they just like slowly brought her in.
I mean, yeah. It feels like we have all kinds of that shit.
From Christianity.
Yeah. So like it's Christian rooted, and that was also why they saw it as a counter to the cult of personality that Kim Jong-un's grandfather, he was the one who took over North Korea, or was running North Korea. So like to counter that impulse, they encouraged the Moonies, because that Moon guy, the guy who started it, kind of had his own cult of personality. Some young Moon. Some young Moon. Who knows?
It's like we have this kind of shit too, with whatever Mormons, Scientology, all this Mormons other shit. But also in this country, it's like, hey, if you get too uppity with your fucking cult shit, the government's going to storm your compound and kill everyone. And they don't do that in Japan.
Yeah, that's true. Like they don't have and also especially if they weren't like politically entangled. Whereas like Waco, that's their problem, is they didn't fucking rub shoulders with the sheriff. But anyways, so the Moonies though, like they've been around since the 50s is when they started. The 70s kind of when they got big.
So I'm sorry, before we go, remember I was saying the Aum cult, AUM?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Aum Shinrikyo. He's basically like their ISIS.
Oh,
like the Moonies, the Aum cult is the fucking like the militant arm, basically. They are the world's. Yeah, the Moonies aren't like that. The Moonies don't like condone it. They're responsible for the world's only WMD terrorist attack by a private organization when they released sarin gas in the Tokyo subway in 1995, killing 13 and injuring 6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually Archspire, that's how I knew who they were, because I looked them up a while ago. Archspire has their last album is about that cult, which is weird as shit.
Right.
Because like you can't understand a fucking word the dude says, but
yeah, that's right. That was so they're
like an offshoot of the Moonies. It's the same.
Yeah, the Moonies were under increased scrutiny after those attacks for sure, and they also like the thing is like it was kind of they were doing all this campaign stuff, on the side, or like they weren't MAGA about it, like rah rah. They were the ones who were like the foot soldiers on the ground for that party for years. So it's basically, it comes in this conundrum where the LDP or the no LDP member or the church themselves members have been charged with a crime here, but it's just torn open the entanglement with the main ruling party of Japan, and everybody's like kind of this open secret where there are Yamagami Girls, I gotta see if they're Yamagami Girl T-shirts. Anyways, Yamagami Girls they send Yamagami gifts and shit, and they're probably writing them poems and want to marry him, because he is the tragic hero. And I guess there was a huge, even Abe's funeral was controversial because thousands of people came out saying that he shouldn't have a state-sponsored funeral, even though he's like the ex-prime minister who was just assassinated,
Right.
But it became this thing, like that many people were all of a sudden like, holy shit. And they go on to like this, the author's like, the Yamagami may end up being one of the most successful assassins in the sense that he's just like, I've got nothing left to lose.
Wow.
And he had this, like, this is my pure motivation.
So I typed in Yamagami Girl T-shirt.
Yeah.
The first thing that's came up is a shirt that just has Shinzo Abe on the front. It says his name and his date of birth and his death date.
Damn.
Wow.
That's the shirt. Like, wow.
That's some that's some crazy ass shit to have in your country. Like, just imagine like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, right?
Everybody's supporting
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
There were some people who probably hated Kennedy who were kind of like, fuck him. But
yeah, right.
They didn't make T-shirts about it.
Yeah.
Selling fucking T-shirts at concerts.
And that's how it's just like, holy shit, like, that's why we didn't really hear anything about this, because all of a sudden it became this huge kind of like open wound politically in Japan. And so he's getting all these gifts from fucking Yamagami Girls, and many people now see him as this tragic hero. One thing I didn't know until reading this was that, and so the trial hasn't even fully happened yet, but it's likely that he will get sentenced with the death penalty. In Japan,
I didn't know Japan has the death penalty.
Yeah, and in Japan, when you are sentenced to the death penalty, you are not told when your day to die is.
Oh, for real?
For real. They keep that hidden from you.
That's some grimy shit, dude.
Do they chop your fucking head off, or what do they do?
No, I don't know what their form, their technical form is at the moment. But it's just that fact that, like,
high-tech bullshit.
There's no, like, oh, we're going to plan your last meal. Your last meal's coming up in a week, Charlie. like, you can't anticipate any moment, any morning you wake up, it could be like, all right, come with us.
Yeah. Ooh. See ya. Oh, wow. That's grimy.
You might want to save that oatmeal, buddy. We're going to take you down the hall here in a minute.
Yeah. So, so the case hasn't fully happened yet, but he's now become this like folk hero, and because there's a law firm or a network of lawyers that help. They filed over 35,000 compensation claims against the church. They've recovered about $206 million for Japanese people that are basically giving their money away out of guilt for the war crimes of their ancestors.
Wow,
man!
There was even this was actually
imagine how broke we'd all be. Well, us three. About 10.
Oh yeah. Oh, this actually must have happened after the it would have been after the assassination. So this was in October of 2022. A 26-year-old defector who was using a pseudonym had a press conference wearing a mask, and she was describing she grew up in the church. And she was there with her husband describing how the church's predatory practices, because they would literally look up your financial information, find out what kind of debts you had, and use leverage to guilt you. And while she's giving this press conference, like 47 minutes into it, someone comes up and hands her a letter.
What?
Live in this press conference, and the husband reads it, and the letter is from her parents, saying that you should not believe this woman. She's delusional. She's having an episode. It was like, because her parents are in the church.
Right.
Like,
wow.
They freaking bombed her press conference, and she just she held her composure, and she's like crying there. But she said, if you truly believe in me, please make sure that this organization is dissolved.
Fucking Japan's got some fucking issues, man.
They got some weird ass problems, dude.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, one thing too. A little side note too. Actually, is how Moon, the guy who started the Moonies, the church, he's actually most famous. Why? Because they made their money in a lot of other investments in property and holding companies. And actually, they're most famous for sushi. It is his company that got Americans over the idea of eating raw fish and tuna. And their company is still like one of the largest distributors of fresh fish throughout.
I did see that. That was in a documentary I saw. Yeah. And that's how they make. That's like how they fund themselves, basically.
No shit.
They have an enormous fucking.
Yeah, they still have a full industry. They run industries.
Yeah.
Like besides, but they're also, got their thumb on the scale of Japanese politics and are siphoning money. They're basically let's get back at the Japanese for all they did to us, based on just guilting them. So that is why we probably didn't hear much about it afterwards.
Wow,
but that would be a good fucking movie.
It's fucking wild,
right?
All right, moving along. What's sexy? Oh my God, Oracle, Majestic Beast.
Majestic Beast. So the other day, I was, or yesterday, I was working out in my sunroom in the morning, and I turn around, look out the window, and I'd see this like flash of white like going past the fucking garage. I'm like, what the fuck? What's that shit? And then I thought that it was an albino deer. And my wife today, she's like, the albino deer is back, and I got some pictures with the camera. So,
oh, cool.
This is in my backyard.
This is a second sighting then.
Yep, this is in my backyard. So I've got this fucking albino buck.
Wow.
In the backyard.
You need to start feeding him because he's going to be a good mountain one day.
Yeah, he ain't going to last long.
So let's ask this. So it's not illegal to kill it during deer season, obviously.
It is illegal.
But if a hunter...
is it illegal if it's albino?
Because it doesn't have any brown on it, it's actually illegal.
I didn't know that.
Okay, good. I'm glad there's a rule, but I know some asshole would probably still take a shot at it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like some drunk asshole is gonna be like, "I'm killing it."
They're gonna have to, because the albino population's actually growing quite a bit out here, so I think they are gonna have to open a season eventually. But
really.
Yeah, this guy's he's trying to pick up chicks, as you can see in this picture.
It's
there's
like,
a doe.
Boy, he's a motherfucker. Your dick probably small.
Yeah. But
epic
pretty
brown bear.
Pretty cool. They have this guy hanging around. Hopefully, hangs around some more. I like being able to look out and have these little.
Did you name him?
No, I haven't named him yet. I need a real Walter.
His name is Powder.
You gotta tame him and let your potato ride that fucker around.
Right.
There you go. That makes some fucking cute pictures.
Just
pictures for the gram.
Fucking deer, albino deer.
No. Nowadays, you'd have to make it into a TikTok, and it would go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it'd be a fucking.
People would eat that shit up.
Yeah,
Baby
all
on an
I have
albino
to do
deer.
is just tame this wild fucking animal.
Fast forward to going to the emergency room with your child's got a small puncture wound on the side.
Right.
This wild animal with weapons attached to its head.
Yeah. Fucking albino
what could
deer.
go wrong?
Artie the albino. Stab me.
That's it.
Well, that's cool.
Albino deer.
Moving along to Teddy, Super Mario Wonder World.
Super Mario Wonder. You pick any part of the video. It's like
no world in this one.
There's no world. Super Mario Wonder. It's
roll that beautiful bean foot.
2D side-scrolling Mario game. It's fucking awesome. You play the old school Mario, from which I've always loved the side scrollers. It's got something from all of them in the game. It's got about 9 characters you can play as Mario, all the way down to the Yoshis. for the kitties, the Yoshis, and there's another character named Nabbit. They don't take any damage unless they fall in a pit, so they're still able to play. For the adults, it's fun. It's difficult. They got a little bit of something from all the other games. They got things from part 2, which is pretty awesome. The hold down, the charge, the jump. They got things for that. It's just a real cool trip down memory lane. I was playing with my son tonight, and it's fun to run through the levels together. My wife sucks at the game, but
it's kind of crazy like watching this because you see all of the mechanics that are from like the original Mario games.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like that shit still holds up
right
in this day. It's fucking wild because I mean, later. If you just change this skin with, you know, the old school graphics or whatever, it kind of looks like it's, you know, very similar.
Oh, it is. Like today when we got the hold down the jump thing, I was like, oh shit, that's Mario 2. He's like, what? That's Mario 2, buddy.
It tickles your ancestral video game roots.
It does, yes.
Your DNA.
Yep.
My father's and my father's father's 2D adventures all resonate with this beautiful bean footage.
But yeah, it's a cool little game. If you have a Switch, try it out. You won't be disappointed, especially if you're a Mario fan.
Boom.
Awesome. All right. Moving on to me, Ashtray. There's some more. Well, I don't got a video, but I got pictures. Let's get asked to quote for playing a conference benefit at Gather at the Deer District, which is it just a pavilion you can only walk in Mystic? I've never been there.
The Deer District is an enormous area in between the Fiserv Forum and other businesses around it. It's
like multiple
when they say Deer
right?
District, that could mean one of 30 businesses.
You could be in the fucking ghetto in an alley somewhere.
Right. Well, these pictures.
If those pictures, these don't look like ghetto ass pictures.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks fairly clean for the ghetto, but yeah, there's a venue for I may be playing next year. Sweet.
Nice. This is booked out for next year for you?
Well, this would be there. It's a Monday night. But I'm sure their Saturdays at this venue's probably got their Saturdays booked out through next year.
Right.
So what section you're hoping you get booked to play there?
Yeah.
Or you are booked to play there?
No, not technically booked yet, but no, I got asked to quote from a woman who's seen my work for another friend, and it's like part of her. It's this organization of lawyers that help with.
What is the venue called?
It's called Gather at the Deer District, or at Deer District is like the subtitle.
Sounds like a great combine.
It's probably a swank place where people with money can have a wedding and stuff.
Sell some NFTs.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh man, there's not even any booze in these goddamn things. It spilled it all over me. Shame.
Thought you're supposed to be not drinking.
Yeah, that's one of those hoppy waters.
That shit's off MLK and Bell Phillips, though.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it could get interesting?
It might be a nice place, but I wouldn't park your car there for very long. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I'm sure there's a ramp I'll pay to park in. All us other people.
You'll be all right there. You're right next to the water. It's not like it's black people don't like water. So.
Yeah.
Not all of us, but some of us.
Yeah, hopefully I get it. It'd be nice to make over $800 for 3 hours of music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Make a nice little. I made a fucking full on PDF with the goddamn invoice information and everything. Way it helps you sell that price tag than just putting a number in an email. Here, this much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. She's like, oh, this is a very informative.
Send it to my Cash App at Dickhole.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if you're
at gmail.com.
the guy we're looking for.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because it's lawyers who help with basically like helping people adopt, abused and orphaned children overseas. And so they all work like internationally all the time. So they video chat all the time, but it's like only during this conference they all come in to get together. So hopefully happens. Moving along, Mystic, Deviloof.
Deviloof. I've never heard of this band before. They are a Japanese visual Kai band. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Kai, Kei is the name of their style in Japan.
Is this the one that made me feel like I was going to hallucinate?
Yeah, I like it because of the. So like a lot, and Oracle can attest to this. A lot of like metal is just four assholes playing in the woods, you know, and it doesn't make any sense. But like this is it's the music isn't anything special really. The vocalist is cool. It's just the way they filmed it is fucking different, and I love it. It's fucking weird. Right. It's shit. It's got fucking great camera angles. It's fucking it's just visually pleasing. It's a fucking cool ass video.
It kind of tripped me out. I had to stop watching it. Well, the thing is that the edits are subtle. They're subtle enough that it is like when you're tripping, you know, and you see those little like, ooh, did I just see that right?
Right.
Yeah.
The foot. When you look at his face, it's just like, ooh.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's cool as shit.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It's different.
This is terrifying. This is the devil's music. Everybody get rid of this shit.
Look, his mouth just got big.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is a Deviloof.
That's it.
Where are they from again?
Japan.
Fucking
Somewhere in Japan.
Fucked up Japan. Hey.
Yeah, fucking Japan. They're probably part of the fucking Alm cult or something.
Probably part of the Moonies.
Fucking house band for the fucking crazy gas shit.
Hey, sign me up. That sounds pretty fucking cool.
Shit.
I wonder if they're into Yamagami Girls.
Maybe.
They will be.
Yamagami Girls. They always put out on the first date. All right. Moving along to the Fuck What You Think section.
Yay.
Oracle. Calm the fuck down.
Christy Yamaguchi. Remember Christy Yamaguchi?
Familiar.
Ice skater?
Oh, the ice skater,
Olympic.
Olympic ice news recently.
I have no idea. I just
swear to God, she was just on like the fucking Today Show.
I thought that was your fucking thing. I was like, what'd she do now?
Right.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought too. It was
No. Just when somebody's got fucking computer problems and they begin associating everything with that problem, and now suddenly it's just like they're just, if they were in a body of water, they would just be flailing and drowning every child around them. I had one of those today, and just trying to help this, you know, it started because the Wi-Fi wasn't working on her phone, and because there was a change that was made recently. And, you know, this caused these other issues, and then suddenly it's just like, I got ghosts talking to each other on the phone, and you can't hear me. You know, like patience.
She's talking about the phone at work?
Yes, and it's just like, none of this is fucking related, you retard. Just calm the fuck down, and let's start, you know, going through this. Piece by piece. Oh, when you logged into my computer, now I can't open my email. You know, and it's just like, that's not true.
Right.
You're just not clicking on the icon to open it. Like,
oh my god.
You know, it just balloons out of control. I don't get those a lot. But when I have to deal with it, it's just like, like, how the fuck do you even get on with your life? You know?
I wonder that sometimes too. How did they make it this far in life?
Right?
You're right. We have sometimes customers like that where it's like, how did you pick up the phone?
And not stab yourself in the eye with it.
Oh my god!
Right?
You know, we just had a customer today, like, calling and just berating our new guy because basically she didn't respond to his email asking, hey, can you verify these are the sizes that you were talking about? It's like, woman, you missed the email.
Right.
I never got it. It's like she just fucking had a heavy flow day and decided it was poor Adam's fault and he's gonna pay for it.
Oh.
Next time you tell her to climb down off the cotton pony.
It's an eco company.
I want to be
too.
a receptionist just for times like that.
I'm sure she's
listen
like,
here, bitch, you shut the fuck up.
Listen, God damn it, I never found that.
I will fucking find you.
It's one of those things where she's like, I ain't got time for this. It's like, yep, you started this eco company thing. You're to save the world, and then you realize it's just like any other goddamn business. It's the little shit you gotta fucking. I didn't take care of those decals. I never heard from. Let's just go chew out the sign shop because I didn't respond to their email.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck 'em.
And guess what? Your boyfriend.
Well, then it derailed the first half of my day.
Your sister too.
Yeah. Guess what? You got AIDS, bitch.
I took a turn.
Yeah. So I fucking derailed.
Welcome to the wonderful world of gonorrhea.
First 4 hours of my goddamn day. I guess that'll be my fuck what you think too. Then fucking that story. Moving along.
That story.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's over.
Fucking dumbass customers who are just like fucking freaking out because they didn't fucking follow up on our follow-up. Anyways, move on to Mystic managers. Fuck them.
So
people to fuck.
It's kind of funny that you guys have the same type of day I did, but so they, without getting too technical, they changed the way that we record these promo things that we do after the shows for the later shows, right? And like the manager of the promotions department who does these things just tells this old guy to like figure out how to do it. Now this dude's like 60 years old. He barely knows how to work a computer. You know what I'm saying? So he's like coming to me and he's like, oh, how do I get this video attached to the screen out there? And I was like, you mean the server? Like where they play the video from? He's like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, here's the deal.
Oh my God.
You make an ID, call it whatever you want. Give me the source. I'll cut the fucking video and put it in there because I don't want to deal with this right now. I literally said that to him. I'm like, I don't know why your manager is asking you to do this, but I don't have time right now. So just fucking. So I did his work for him because his manager doesn't know how to do it either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's the reason why he told him to do it, because they fucking decided to do it a certain way and didn't know what they were doing. So I just fucking, so I added more work to it because I got to talk to my boss. I'm not going to do this every day. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Right.
I got to figure it out.
Oh,
like, fuck.
That reminds me. Well, we need an update on fucking Otto, or what's the guy's name who rides with you? Oracle?
Oh, shit.
No.
Otto? Why would
what was his name? You probably can't use it.
He never said his name, and don't say his name.
Right.
It's Otto.
So tomorrow is actually the last day.
Nice.
Yes.
How'd that
I told
been
Otto
like the fifth last day.
I told Otto, I was like, hey, my son is starting daycare next week, and I am no longer able to give you rides. So I used the potato.
Yeah, so
you used the potato.
You didn't even go like on your kid.
You're breaking up, Teddy.
You're breaking up, Teddy.
I said, so you didn't even do it like a man. You blamed it on your son.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like any
Like,
good.
I don't
Get the fuck out of my
Good
car,
Midwesterner
Otto.
does, Teddy.
Yeah, all good Midwesterners use their kids.
We always try to use our children until we can't, and then we just blow up on the person because
Then once your kids have their own apartments, you like, I have no fucks left to give.
Right.
God.
Yeah. So
so Otto will be out soon.
Otto is out soon. Tomorrow's the last day.
Did he seem sad?
He seemed a little sad. It was a little awkward at first.
He's like, oh well, shit, I didn't plan on.
Yeah, and it's
this
like,
ever changing.
Jesus Christ! If I was in that situation, and I was like 2.5 months without having a seizure or whatever, and my doctor told me that I couldn't drive, and I ran out of rides, I'd be like, guess what? I'm fucking driving.
Yeah, I gotta get to work somehow.
Exactly.
Dude. Let alone, has he ever given you money?
You know, hand jobs and shit like that.
Only handies, boy. They better be good.
Fuck him. Tell him to take an
Fuck
Uber.
him right in the mouth. Give him a parting shot there. Gargle on that, Otto.
Wow. I don't know. That escalated.
Moving on to, speaking of out of books to listen to.
Books to listen.
Teddy.
Thank you. So I do listen to a lot of Audible. And so what I try to do, I try to find a series that has a lot of books. And if I like the first book, I'll get the whole series. I found 2 series actually written by one guy, Neil Helligers. One's called the Good Guys series. The other one's the Bad Guys series. The Good Guys has 14 books. The Bad Guys has 11. But that's actually not true. The Good Guys actually has 15 books. It comes out here in the next couple of months. So I listen to all the books and I have nothing else to listen to because I have to wait for the next book to come out. Also, the Bad Guys has I think 2 more books coming out. And I'm like, motherfucker.
How's this guy write so many fucking books?
And he actually started a new series.
Is he like
called
Terry or who are some of those big authors where they have an army of writers and they kind of come up with a general idea, but they actually pay other people to write them.
I don't know. It
Tom
has one author.
Shit like that.
Yeah, Terry Richardson.
Or not Tom Clancy. What the fuck is that? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Dude who wrote like the Pelican Brief and
Michael
shit.
Crichton?
No, not Michael Crichton.
Crichton is one of them.
There's one that's still very active.
Starts with like a G or something.
Jack Reacher. John Grisham. Yes.
John Grisham.
Grisham, that's it. Goddamn Grisham novels. Yeah, exactly. You know, like they live in their fucking mansion and
Teddy,
come up poop ideas.
You should really check out those podcasts. I thought that Disgraceland and that Badlands is they're phenomenal. If you like music, like there's a Wu-Tang one that's fucking cool. Okay. But like the Badlands one, I think is better because like the Dennis Hopper fucking stories. John Holmes. That's gonna be my whole topic next week is the Wonderland murders and John Holmes in the 70s. That shit was fucking nuts, man.
Fucking nuts.
Fucking nuts.
Boom.
God damn. Maybe you should Otto should listen to that.
Otto should listen.
I hate getting into a series and shit and I'm like, oh, I'm on the last book and then I listen to the last book and I'm like, oh god damn it wasn't the last book. I'm like, shit, I gotta wait 2 more months for the last one to come out.
Man, there's so many good some good audiobooks. Kurt Vonnegut books. Slaughterhouse.
I didn't like Slaughterhouse 5.
I like that one. Also,
it was all right.
Cradle.
I mean, it was a.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, yeah.
You can listen to whatever you want, Teddy.
I know I will.
In all seriousness, though.
I mean,
Ashtray will allow it.
Listen, you said listen to porn. The plot gets kind of old.
You think they have like audio descriptions of porn?
They do have
like they have audio descriptions for blind people for movies.
They do dub porn. I've seen some of those where it's like it's a different language and you can tell it's like
really?
They're like moaning over the real sex. It's, it just it's like the audio's off. It just seems so fucking weird.
Holy shit!
You know, and it sounds like they're moaning in a studio. You know, nice and clean.
Right? Yeah.
So you don't even hear any ball slapping or anything.
Okay.
Anyways, no, seriously, go fuck yourself, Otto, the rideshare cuck. That's our show. Wow. We're gonna be here every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central. Like us, share us, fuck us on the Facebook.com/WriterReport. I am the Ashtray.
I'm Oracle.
I'm Mystic.
And I think I'm
Teddy. Always waiting for last
I think
Teddy.
You are too.
Therefore I am.
Oh,
I did.
Fucking out of books, Teddy.